There's an echo in the canyon, a reflection on the sound. When I'm really looking, I can hear you all around.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
Bravo.
And forgive me, it's 116, not 55.
Yeah, 116. And that was in the New York Times in March. The first time I've ever seen a Shakespearean sonnet referenced, talked about, not reprinted, but they had a lot to say about Shakespeare's talent. Now, this is the strangest event. Emily, could you put up that snippet of the Times where we actually see the Times article, and on top was this wonderful field of flowers? Can you believe it? The New York Times.
Amazing.
It's amazing. March, and this year, and holy cow. And you chose the right sonnet, dear Victor. I don't know. Synchronicity.
How do I do it? I don't know.
You do like doing that. Oh, you're so good at it too. Almost as good as Emily is at. But I would love to go right on to a sonnet from Emily reading to us, and go through a few before we start talking about the effect. I want to welcome, first of all, Dr. Victor Urbanowitz, who's been my trusty co-producer for quite a while. And oh, dear Gemma Mathewson, you're back.
I'm back.
After 6 or 8 months.
Yeah, quite a while.
Quite a while, doing family.
But it's so great to be back. I mean, it's amazing what's going on here. So.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, you guys held up the fort for a long time without
Thank you.
me. So.
And Victor did yeoman's work for that.
Yeah,
Needed
absolutely.
it. Needed him. So needed.
Thank you.
You bet. And we are in April. So it's Shakespeare's birthday, hence the happy birthday. Oh, and these are love sonnets. And what are love sonnets for? They're for lovers. Yes, so flowers and hearts. And oh, it's also, let's celebrate National Poetry Month.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. And you're on the beam, Anne Marie. Thank you very much. Can you see that, Victor? This is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Isn't that wonderful? National
Very
Poetry.
fine. It is indeed.
It is indeed. Oh, it's just a work of art. Tea parties brings us back to tea parties, yeah, with our daughters. Oh, yeah. So we keep celebrating, and also Gemma had a birthday April 6th.
Well, I was more reminded of coming up on my husband and I's 49th anniversary with your first poem, because alteration finds, boy, after 49 years, you You appreciate phrases like that.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, yeah.
Love is not love, which alters when alteration finds.
Sure.
Oh my goodness. So, what is love? What is the erotic component that we're finding in these sonnets?
I think Shakespeare will tell us more.
Shakespeare will tell us more. So give us one.
Oh my goodness, okay. Let's see what.
Very smooth opening, thank you. So nice.
Okay, how about 55? You mentioned 55 before. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often it is in his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou ought'st, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this gives life to thee.
Ooh, good choice.
So any
Is it that common in remembrance with people and poets who think of this one above so many others? Let me compare thee to a summer's day. Is that the most famous of Shakespeare's remembered sonnets, do you think? Or maybe anthologized?
I don't,
Probably.
it probably is one of the more anthologized ones.
Yeah. What do you think, Victor?
Yeah, it definitely is. Maybe 29 is a little more accessible to a current reader, so that's right up there with it. Yeah, you were saying, is that the most famous, and how do you quantify it? Okay, find all the anthologies and make a count of the Shakespeare sonnets, and then we'll have a quantifiable
right.
measure of how famous it is. It's pretty famous.
I
Let's
do
just say
love that side of you. I love the quantifying side of you because I have no ability. And yeah, we do make one heck of a trio if you think about it. Well,
This also belongs, if I may say, to a certain category of Shakespeare sonnets, the love plus brag sonnet. You will live forever in my verses.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
right,
it.
Right.
yeah, absolutely. How many times have you quantified that? I have come across that reference and I read most of the sonnets up until 124. And that is so common in the immortalizing of the fairness of the youth through words, through his ability. It's amazing how powerful he considers language to be in his life. A lot's made of looking. The eyes are mentioned, but I'd like to go through for myself and quantify how many times the fair youth is immortalized. Wow. What about sonnet number 1? Just for the fun of it, let's go back to sonnet number 1, because as the three of us know, this is a narrative arc. Oh, it's a narration, and there are characters, and they change. Oh my goodness. But at the same time, sonnets can be read separately, individually, without reference to others. And that is, of course, part of the gift. Sonnet number 1. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the reaper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedst thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies. Thyself thy foe, to the sweet self too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. Ah, springtime, here we are. April, May, nature's way of somehow, as Mary Oliver says, but as Victor said in a note to me, the implied theology in Mary Oliver's poems, and I do not find any implied theology here. Am I missing something? I usually do. But we're into the game of you have got to preserve your beauty at all costs. And if you can't do it, in the following sonnets, maybe the speaker poet can. Victor.
Yeah. This is another motif. Listen, get married, you young fool. You're not going to be young and good looking forever.
Let's get it on right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Find a wife, will you? Have some kids. Maybe they'll look like you.
Now, weighing the two, being
I know that's
more,
putting it very bluntly, but that's about that's really the essence of quite a few of these sonnets.
oh, nice countertemps to what the elegance of the presentation is. I love it.
Yeah.
So which weighs heavier? The fair youth's beauty can be preserved in the memorial of a sonnet, or, oh my goodness, increase. Do you have the sonnet where he really comes down on that need to get a wife, procreate, get your progeny out there with their attendant beauty that they'll get from you? How wonderful. Let's make the world as this fairest creatures we desire increase, and beauty's rose might never die. Oh, that's a nice image of the wonderful youth.
Indeed.
Give us another, Gemma.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Again, while she's choosing, Victor, do you have any comments on the narrative that's possible here?
Oh, it's more a sermon than a narrative. The first 5 sonnets are the same thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to be young and good looking forever. Get married, you fool.
That's what 5.
Let's see.
Yes.
And 6. And 5 and 6 as well.
Okay.
He's really harping on it.
He's really harping on it.
So where would you like me to go from there? Is there a next one you'd like me to read?
Well, how about we will look at, just for a minute, context.
Okay.
Okay? Celebrated for centuries as the ultimate declarations of romantic love, parenthesis, and appropriated shamelessly for almost as long by the peddlers of greeting cards, end parenthesis. I'm not so sure I've seen that much Shakespeare in greeting cards lately, have you? Shakespeare's sonnets have also virtually since their publication in 1609 caused great controversy. What could be controversial about a love sonnet? Oh, here is what we do know, or at least what we can surmise from the material available. The sequence, and it is a sequence, who knew, follows a loose narrative arc with three dramatis personae: the male fair youth, who features in the bulk of the sonnets, the speaker, who is a poet, older and not as wealthy as the fair youth. I didn't know that. And a, quote, dark lady, end quote, who stalks the last poems in the arrangement.
How about this one, 115? Those lines that I before have writ do lie, even those that said I could not love you dearer. Yet then my judgment knew no reason why my most full flame should afterwards burn clearer. But reckoning time, whose million accidents creep in twixt vows and change decrees of kings, tan sacred beauty blunt in the sharpest intents, divert strong minds to the course of altering things. Alas, why fearing of time's tyranny might I not then say, now I love you best, when I was certain or in certainty, crowning in the present, doubting of the rest? Love is a babe. Then might I not say so, to give full growth to that which still doth grow? So it's not over.
No.
It's any comments about that?
Yeah. Let's dive into sexuality in the sonnets for a minute, just as a nice little backdrop. It says here, on paper, sex and sexuality in Elizabethan times were strictly policed and monitored. The church was full of condemnations for carnal desire and even sponsored the so-called, quote, bawdy courts, end quote. Ecclesiastical courts that could impose jail sentences and public humiliation for sexual transgressions. Sodomy was strictly forbidden and prostitution was illegal. In practice, though, it was a different story. Oh, maybe the same as today, with the rabid religious right, R-I-G-H-T, and what's happening behind the curtain. Throughout Elizabeth's and James' reign, there were only 6 charges of sodomy ever brought to legal scrutiny, and brothels flourished. In fact, Shakespeare's co-author of Pericles, George Wilkins, owned a brothel. Sexual preference was not an either-or choice in the way that it's viewed today. Male homosexual love was common in Elizabethan times. Indeed, King James was famously sexually enthralled to some of his male favorites. He followed Elizabeth on the throne. In a society that placed the value of men leagues above that of women, why wouldn't men be attracted to their equals in perfection? Other men. let's hear some perfection of the male form from some of these sonnets. I mean, starting with the eyes, of course. Really, it could be the same thing as Victor was saying over and over and over again. He's celebrating the body
Right.
of his young lover, his younger lover.
And love is a babe, that is Cupid.
Yeah. Love is a babe, Cupid. What is it about the speaker, poet, that is so enamored in the physical beauty of this young man who has reached perfection, apparently, in physical beauty, but, you know, time's scythe and change are the enemies. But I'd love to get some description from some of these sonnets on what the beauty is besides the eyes, because he does seem to limit himself to the eyes as maybe sublimation. Interesting. How beautiful is this beautiful young man? And how is he beautiful to the speaker poet?
You have some thoughts on that, Victor?
You're making me think of, I don't have anything specific to contribute, but years ago I read a novel by Anthony Burgess called Nothing Like the Sun.
Uh-huh.
Remember Anthony Burgess?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, it was about Shakespeare's love life, including the Dark Lady of the Sonnets and a certain boyfriend he had too, who called him Dad in the novel. So Shakespeare there is portrayed as bisexual. When we're finished talking about sex, I'll read an anti-sex sonnet. How about that?
That sounds great. Let's go for that.
Not yet.
Okay.
I gotta have the
129.
beauty before I
We
can
got to
have
clean
the
up the
anti-sex.
conversation, folks.
What?
People are putting their hands over the children's ears as they listen to us, so we have to clean this up.
Oh,
Okay.
not too much. I
Okay.
have Anne Marie here. Anne Marie will give me the, the
Time
expurgating,
signal? Okay.
the expurgating sign. But
Clean it up.
I still don't.
Here comes 129. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The expensive spirit in a waste of shame is lust in action.
Ooh.
And till action, lust is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust, enjoyed no sooner but despised straight, past reason hunted and no sooner had, past reason hated as a swallowed bait, on purpose laid to make the taker mad. Mad in pursuit and in possession so, having and in quest to have extreme, a bliss in proof and proved a very woe. Before, a joy proposed, behind, a dream. All this the world well knows, yet none knows well who shun the heaven that leads men to this hell.
Bravo! And you know, your pacing has come so far into just the perfect Shakespearean reader. Victor, bravo! And that
Oh,
is,
thank you.
that's a real kick in the bottom. I have missed that one completely.
What?
Yeah, he was in kind of a ascetic mood when he wrote this one, I think.
Uh-huh. What is it about the sonnet form that is so fetching for this poet who just constricts himself to 14 lines? Otherwise, it would bubble over like a too sweet cocktail or something. I mean, we're talking about limits here and the rhyme scheme. So just a word about the Petrarchan sonnet, which was about 200 years before Shakespeare. And that was a mad love series of really fantastic sonnets, but they were all 8 and 6.
And it still endures. I mean,
it's the Italian sonnet.
Because you have to distill what you want to say into a form, you make it concise and precise.
Precise. That's the trick.
Yeah.
I don't know any Petrarchan sonnets, haven't read any as backdrop, but 8 and 6 is a different formula. 8 lines, 6 adds to 14. And of course, in Shakespeare, 4, 4, 4, and 2. We're going to take a quick break so we can both catch our breaths with all this eroticism in the air. And we'll be back. Whoa.
It was kind of the storm of the century, or the 500-year flood or storm, that by some estimates over 15 inches of rain fell over a 3-day period on June 4th, 5th, and 6th, 1982.
What is pickleball? The sport that has captivated millions with its combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong can be played 1-on-1 or 2-on-2.
Hi, thanks for joining me. This is September Selectmen's Update.
Hello everyone, Carl Fortuna here again with another monthly update.
Good morning everyone. Today's the Town Council regular meeting, Wednesday, October 4th, 2023 at 8 a.m., Town Hall Green Room.
Tom and Rick had a part of that.
So I'm going to read another sonnet. This is from not the first half of Shakespeare's sonnets, but the second half. Instead of the early person, it's the dark lady starts to have a view. And this is number 130. It's pretty famous, and I had so many to choose from, but it's the one that really hits home to me, which is probably why it's so well known. I think it hits for a lot of people. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow from her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath from that which my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven, I think my love is rare as any she belied with false compare. So here's Shakespeare saying, You know what? All these lovey, gooey, fancy tributes to love. Romanticized, thank you. They're not real.
No, not real.
But still, there's a core of love that remains, and it's just that's pleasing to me. Also, something that I didn't know is that there was a man, a poet, who wrote poems at the same time, who wrote sonnets at the same time in Shakespeare, and he did talk about some of the exact things in a poem, and apparently they had they were at odds with each other. His name was Barnaby Barnes.
Ah.
Are you familiar with that poet, Barnaby Barnes, who wrote at the same time as Shakespeare? Yeah, and some of the things were quoted from him. Her cheeks to damask roses sweet and scent and color were so like that honey bees in swarms would meet to suck. That was from Barnes's poem. So people think that he was responding to Barnes's lines there, talking about the damask rose. Otherwise, it was such a specific detail.
And this is the right. And there are several other poems that begin with an imagined interlocutor who's already set up a situation, and the poet speaker is contrasting that romanticized view with a more realistic one. As you show and point out, the realist is maybe to come to the fore in his poetry after we had that paragon of beauty of the young into the dark lady. Could you hit us with some of those characteristics again from the poem? I mean, her breath, her...
Right. But no such roses seek I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. It's so visceral.
What a love poem. That's a turnoff.
And yet...
What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, Victor, are there other poems in which he starts from an imagined position of contravening the original position? I'm trying to think of a line. It doesn't come to me now, so help me out.
Well, I'd like to talk about that. If the Dark Lady was a real person, I hope she never saw that poem. It would not be pleasing. Secondly, it was something he apparently liked about women with African features, but he couldn't figure out what it was, so he just looked at all the things he didn't like. I think the poem was kind of a... I look at that poem as frankly not all that successful, at least not as a love poem. Startling in its paradoxical quality. He tries to save it at the end, but I think the recovery is too fast. He doesn't pull out of the stall and he crashes. That's my frank opinion.
And I just get the feeling that was deliberate. I don't know. Could be wrong.
Yeah, well, let's hear about that. He's, well, I see your point, Gemma, because as any she belied with false compare, said, a lot of poems just tell huge lies about how beautiful the woman is, and they use rather cliched comparison, damask roses and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, there is something to love even if you don't make all these comparisons. But he didn't quite have the stuff to describe African beauty anyway. or the beauty of someone who likes garlic, apparently.
After my own heart.
Yeah. That brings us right down to solid earth and maybe the cattiness that's possible with two women talking about each other behind the back, I'm guessing, but at least competition. And that brings us down to cats.
Cats.
Cats! Cats! Victor, we've got a cat poem. And after the cat poem, we'll get back to Shakespeare and see if there are any possible allusions or even just comparisons. But we have a wonderful cat book of familiar poems to all of us in the literary world, but made into the most wonderful book on cats who would have imagine what a well-known poem could be changed into. And thank you,
Henry
Emily.
Beard. Henry Beard.
Henry Beard. And you had time to look that up, Victor?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Yep. All Emily's. Emily, our Emily, who directs and is the coordinator of outreach for this program and this this station, picked out some of these wonderful poems, which are really a hoot. Let's hear some.
Okay. I like this poem after Robert Frost because although it's out of season, it's winter. We'll just read it. Sitting by the fire on a snowy evening by Robert Frost's cat. Whose chair this is by now I know. He's somewhere in the forest though. He will not see me sitting here, a place I'm not supposed to go. He really is a little queer to leave his fire's cozy cheer and ride about by the frozen lake the coldest evening of the year. To love the snow, it takes a flake, the chill that makes your footpads ache, the drifts too high to lurk or creep, the icicles that drip and break. His chair is comfy, soft, and deep, but I have got an urge to leap, and mice to catch before I sleep, and mice to catch before I sleep. The cat always finds the coziest chair, and then I guess is revived by it.
With illustrations, how wonderful is this?
Yeah.
What a find. It just fell off a shelf.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking. I think I'd like to go counterpoint.
Absolutely.
And go to a development here in the narrative arc, which we're still keeping in mind. If this is a narrative and it starts with the simple admiration of the beauties of a youth, there's real development to this plot, right?
Right.
It really develops over all of the 154 sonnets right to the end. And number 42 stops and takes a breath, so to speak, in that narrative arc. And I found it very helpful that thou hast her. It is not all my grief, and yet it may be said I loved her dearly. That she hath thee is of my wailing chief, a loss in love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders, thus I will excuse ye. Thou dost love her because thou knowest I love her, and for my sake even so doth she abuse me. Suffering my friend for my sake to approve her, if I lose thee, My loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend, hath found that loss. Both find each other, and I lose both twain. And both, for my sake, lay on me this cross. But here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone. Oh, this is a triangle, devoutly to be wished, according to the speaker's formulations. Again, though, he's saying, but it is I through identity with the one who you love. But how could you really intervene and make love to my mistress? How dare you? Well, he did. He dared. And that's not the only affair that the youth has. Oh, wow. Yeah. As we develop the arc, give us another one, Victor. One that gives us a little move.
Would you give me a moment to go to my printer?
Oh, of course I would.
In the meantime, I can read another.
Oh, a cat, please.
Cat? This is To a Vase by Elizabeth Barrett Browning's cat.
To a
Vase.
To a vase. Wow.
How do I break thee? Let me count the ways. I break thee if thou art in any height my paw can reach. When, smarting from some slight, I sulk or have one of my crazy days.
Oh, let's stop there. Just so that we can appreciate more.
Ah, okay, you got it on. You got it up. Okay.
And how do I love thee? Let me count the ways.
Right.
Yeah. And keep going, please.
Okay. I sulk or have one of my crazy days. I break thee with an accidental graze or twitch of tail, or if I should take fright. I break thee out of pure and simple spite.
Oh, yeah.
The way I broke the jar of mayonnaise. I break thee if a bug upon thee sits. I break thee if I'm in a playful mood. And then I wrestle with the shiny bits. I break thee if I do not like my food. And if someone thy shard together fits, I will break thee once again when thou art glued.
Oh, good choice. You hit the nail on the head there.
We for these two cats that I have now, I have everything pushed up against the back edge of wherever it is so they can't get behind it. That's the only way we deal with things now.
Otherwise.
Victor's back.
Yeah. What did you find at the printer?
Well, it's just like that sonnet I read. It's a bit of a downer, but it's Thomas Gray, Ode on the Death of a Favorite Cat, drowned in a tub of goldfishes.
Whoa.
Oh, I'll take it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. 'Twas on a lofty vase's side where China's gayest art had dyed the azure flowers that blow. Demurest of the tabby kind, the pensive Selima reclined, gazed on the lake below. Her conscious tale her joy declared, the fair round face, the snowy beard, the velvet of her paws, her coat that with the tortoise vies, her ears of jet, and emerald eyes she saw, and purred applause. Okay, she's seeing a reflection in the fishbowl.
Yeah.
Still had she gazed, but midst the tide 2 angel forms were seen to glide, the genii of the stream. Their scaly armor's Tyrian hue, through richest purple to the view, betrayed a golden gleam. the hapless nymph with wonder saw. A whisker first and then a claw with many an ardent wish, she stretched in vain to reach the prize. What female heart can gold despise? What cat's averse to fish? Presumptuous maid, with looks intent, again she stretched, again she bent, nor knew the gulf between. Malignant fate sat by and smiled. The slippery verge, her feet beguiled, she tumbled headlong in. 8 times emerging from the flood, she mewed to every watery God, some speedy aid to send. No dolphin came, no Nereid stirred, nor cruel Tom nor Susan heard. A favorite has no friend. From hence, ye beauties undeceived, know one false step is ne'er retrieved, and be with caution bold. Not all that tempts your wandering eyes and heedless hearts is lawful prize, nor all that glisters gold.
Oh, that is playful and serious
And Shakespearean.
and Shakespearean in all its ways and glory. Oh, I'm so glad you dug that up. Wow. Now, does the cat die?
Oh, yes.
The favorite
Oh,
has,
yeah, drowned in a tub of goldfishes.
Oh, no.
did I hear the line
Sorry.
right? As a favored has no friend?
Yeah, a favorite has no friend.
Wow, that can be.
I can read that
No,
that part again. She was apparently popped up 8 times trying to get out. 8
Yeah.
times emerging from the flood, she mewed to every watery god some speedy aid to send. No dolphin came, no Nereid stirred, nor cruel Tom nor Susan heard. A favorite has no friend.
Yeah.
Wow. Leave it to you to unearth that one.
So they were jealous
Very
of her.
good. Gee, we've long ago left the romantic world here. We have a dead cat.
I was going to say, we're all over the place today.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we
that's
needed it. I'm so glad you offered the balance, because you bet. Oh, yes. Marvelous. I'm going to slip in another Shakespeare before another cat. We got another 10 minutes, so we're going great.
All right.
This is the one about how powerful my words will be. 55. Not marble nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme. This is so familiar. Did you read it earlier? I've read this 14 times, I think. But you shall shine more bright in these contents than upswept stone, besmeared with sluttish time. When wasteful war shall statues overturn, and broils root out the work of masonry, nor Mars his sword, nor war's quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory. 'Gainst death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth. Your praise shall still find room even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to the ending doom. So till the judgment that yourself arise, you live in this and dwell in lovers' eyes. He rescued that at the last minute, didn't he? Oh, what a trickster. That's part of him. Oh, but these cats. Oh my goodness. Do you have an Emily Dickinson
I do.
cat? Oh my
How
God.
did you know?
And your cat's named Emily too.
I do. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Did you know that, Victor? She's got 2 cats, one named Emily after Emily Dickinson.
And the
Oh,
other
my.
is Frida after Frida Kahlo. So.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida.
Frida.
Okay, so I'm going to read after Emily Dickinson's cat. There is no cat toy like a mouse. There is no frigate like a book.
Yeah.
But there is no cat toy like a mouse. to please me in my play, nor any yarn ball like a bug that strains to fly away. No rubber bauble can delight, no lifeless string divert. For where is the fun if none feels fright, or joy if nothing's hurt? It's pretty grim.
Yeah, but your cat voice was perfect. You actually, you're doing it. Wow, she's got it. Yes.
Yeah. The closest my 2 indoor cats have ever got to catching a mice is not Emily, but Frida caught the tail of one and walked it around the house for a few times, didn't know what to do with it, and it survived. Happy ending, at least in my house.
Didn't know what to do with it?
And we did find all those sachets and get them outside, so that the sachets work.
Oh, Victor, yeah. Do you happen to have up your sleeve another cat poem?
No, but I can imitate a cat.
Okay, go for it.
No, I thought we're slipping back to Shakespeare. Nope, not at the moment. No cat poems.
Okay.
Sorry, a bit unprepared here, but
Not at all.
Thomas Gray was a good save.
That was a good one, Sir Thomas Gray.
By the way, Sonnet 55, which you boomed out very nicely, I think.
Thank you.
You notice that is really a poem that declaims well, because there's so many enjambed lines where it just flows from one line to the next without a break. And when there are end-stop lines, they're even more emphatic as a result of that. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. You can sort of bellow that with a megaphone from the housetops.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the enjambment. What's enjambment for our audience?
Oh, that's a line continuing grammatically and rhythmically from the end of one line to the next without any natural stop.
Exactly. And
Against death and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth, okay? And then the sentence ends in the middle of the next line. Your praise shall still find room. And then another enjambment, even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to the ending doom. You need good breath to read that one.
Or speak it. Well done.
thank you.
Do we have another? Oh, is there time for
We
one
are
more?
winding down.
Okay.
And I want to hit one more Shakespeare. By the way, John Keats is so into Shakespeare as a mentor for him. And it's the most wonderful thing to follow in the books on John Keats. Let us just look at 97, because John Keats loved it, and he's got good taste. John Keats, the English poet, marvelous, marvelous romantic poet. 97, how like a winter hath my absence been from thee. The pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere. And yet this time removed was summer's time. The teeming autumn big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burden of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me but hope of orphans and unfathered fruit. For summer and his pleasures wait on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute. Or if they sing, 'tis with so dull a cheer that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near. It's high summer, but your absence feels like winter. Oh, and I miss you so, 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 so terribly that the whole world is confused, upside down. My heart is breaking. Wow, he's still deeply enamored of the fair youth. And he has the dark lady on the side, apparently who the fair youth still has too. And then many, many lovers, no question. So the narrative arc wraps up this triangle in the most interesting way. What lasts? What finally, ultimately, wow, it's in my hand. That's what lasts. It's Helen Vendler. She's marvelous. Victor had her in one course. And
Done in Herbert course, not Shakespeare.
yeah,
She wrote a well-received book on Wallace Stevens' longer poems, too.
brilliant
On
lady.
Extended Wings. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And you had that favor of her being an instructor. We are down to 30 seconds. Oh, I can't thank you enough. This was such a natural, including the presence of cats, to be celebrated on this April day of 23. Birthday, Shakespeare. Wonderful Shakespeare for grown-ups, where we got some of our information. But what lasts, Victor? That lasts. Here, three of us are reading these sonnets of 400 plus years ago, and we're still enamored. And also, we're lovers. And sonnets, love sonnets, are for lovers.
That's right.
And the human race goes on. Oh, I enjoyed this so thoroughly, not only because my two dear friends are here, but I'm thrilled to have you
Thank you.
together again.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks for the wonderful, wonderful show that is really classroom quality. Let's get it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the help today. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to diaphanize, but not these sonnets. They're forever, and they're in a printed book. Good old Helen. I'll stop.
If I'm gone tomorrow and you hear this song today, just remember there is love for you in every note I play. There's an echo in the canyon, a reflection on the sound